What's going on, boys and girls? Well, it's 2021 and we're getting ready to go to 2022. It is December the 30th today, and I'm going to do my New Year's dinner a little bit quicker this time. Not really quicker, I'm just going to start it earlier. I'm going to start doing some of the preparation so I'm not rushed. I did my Christmas video where I did stuff 2 or 3 days before Christmas Day. So I didn't have that much to do on Christmas Day. So we're going to do the traditional New Year's Day dinner today. We're going to have some chitlins with some hog maws. And I know that's probably disgusting. Some people, they don't want to hear that. Going to have some greens. Our greens are going to be kale. We're going to have some black eyed peas. Got to have some black eyed peas. And we're going to have some potato salad. Now, the meaning of all of those things. The pork is for prosperity and wealth, it means that you're going to be prosperous during the year. The black eyed peas are for good luck. The greens are for getting money. They say that each bite of green that you have is worth $1,000. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but it means, if you've got 10 bites of collard greens or kale greens or whatever green, cabbage, that means you're going to get, $10,000 for that year. So y'all have to try it and see if it makes any sense. And then, of course, the potato salad just means, potato salad don't mean nothing. It just means it's good. And then they say cornbread, if you have cornbread, which I'm not sure if we're going to have cornbread, but they say cornbread is for the coins that you get along with your greens with the collard greens and kale and things like that. So that's the amount of coins that you get. So this is just stuff that I was taught when I was young coming up. Does it mean anything? Well, maybe basically it means you're going to have a good meal and most people are going to enjoy it. Peace. All right, folks, we're going to start off with, now these are some baking potatoes. They say russet potatoes are the best ones to use for making potato salad, but we're going to use some of these baking potatoes. We're going to use a little bit of Trinity mix. That's onions, bell peppers, and celery. As for the relish, for the pickle relish, I'm just going to take this is a jar of dill pickles that I made back in 2020 last year. A little bit spicy. I'm just going to use that as the relish, not the whole jar. I'm just going to cut a few of them up. I'm going to use some Grey Poupon mustard. Going to use some garlic. Going to use some mayonnaise, of course. Going to use some garlic powder, some onion powder, some white pepper, and then this right here is Himalayan salt. So we've already got our water boiling. Yes, those are our black eyed peas right there. We're going to be soaking those in a little bit. But we got our water boiling. We're going to boil these until we can stick a fork or a straight stick through them easily. All right, I had to change the pot. That other pot was too small. We want the water to cover the potatoes completely. All right, guys, the next little part here, we're going to take our, potatoes must be done. Hold on a second. We're going to take our black eyed peas. And you don't have to soak these black eyed peas, guys, but with these dried black eyed peas, I always find it helpful to soak them first. And you can also throw a little bit of salt in there as well, like maybe a teaspoonful of salt, just to kind of help soften them up somewhat. And we're going to let those soak for at least 12 hours or so. Alrighty, we cooked the potatoes for about 20-25 minutes. We put them in an ice bath. Now we're gonna mash them. Now we've peeled them, taken all the most of the black spots off that are up there. Some of them have more, some of them have less. So now we're gonna take a masher and mash it up. Of course, you know what a masher is, and this thing comes in handy here. It's hard to do it with one hand. All right, we got them nice and mashed up. And guys, you want them to have a little bit of chunks in there. You don't want them to be all smooth and everything. And so we're going to add our mayonnaise to this. And this right here, usually with 5 potatoes, you want to use about 2.5 cups or so. And I can pretty much say that with this much mayonnaise in here, I can use, this is about 2 cups. No, it's probably 1.5 cups in here right now. But we got another 2, and I'll come back once I get it in there. All right, we got the mayonnaise in there. Gonna mix it in a little bit. And you want this to be kind of creamy. right. All right, just to make these a little bit creamy, we're going to add a little bit of sour cream, y'all. About two heaping. So that's really about three. That's about 3 tablespoons of sour cream. Mix that in. That made it a lot smoother. Alrighty, now we're going to add our dill pickle. And it's not relish, these are just cut up dill pickles. We're going to add some of our Trinity here. If we can open it. Just pour a little bit in there. You don't really want to use the whole thing if you don't have to. And we're going to add some mustard. Now the mustard will make it a little bit creamier too. So we're going to put the mustard in there. Maybe 3. All right. That's still recording? Yeah. Alrighty, we're going to add heaping tablespoon of garlic. Start adding our spices in, guys. A little bit of white pepper. I'm going to add some garlic powder. Now, you've got garlic in there, but we're still going to put some garlic powder in there. You're going to put some onion powder in there as well, too. Just to give it some flavor. We're going to put some paprika. Got to have paprika. And we're going to put some salt in here. All right, and we're going to mix it up real good. Okay, now that looks good there. And then we're going to mix it up real good. All right, y'all. And that is about perfect right there. We're going to put it in a separate bowl and going to refrigerate it, and it's good to go. We don't have to mess with that on New Year's Day. All right, y'all. Here's the stars of the show, the chitlins and the hog maws. Now, I took these things out yesterday, and, well, I put them in the refrigerator on Monday to thaw, and they still weren't thawed, so I had to add some water to them. These are Aunt Bessie's hog chitlins. And they tend to be a little bit more cleaner than other ones. Hog maws, the hog maws, the stomach. The chitlins are the small intestines of a pig. They tend to be a little bit more cleaner than some of the other ones that you buy. But you always go through them and clean them. I'm just letting them soak right now. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with the maws, guys. The maws, and we want to make sure that they're clean. And usually these maws are really clean. So, but what we do is we just go through each one of them, just look at it, and make sure there's no debris or anything on it, and you want to take any of that off. And again, I would be surprised if these things are dirty. And I go from here, rinse them off here, put them in this bowl here. So that'll take a little while, so we'll come back once it's done. Okay, another thing that we do too is we go ahead and cut these into little strips, and that way they'll cook a lot more complete. So we'll do that as we clean them. And it kind of speeds up the cooking time somewhat, guys. Some people cook these things in a pressure cooker. The way we're cooking them, it's going to take several hours. Alrighty, we got them nice and cut up and clean. So what we're going to do is we're going to start cooking these, because I want these to cook for an hour. Then we're going to pour off the oil that it makes. Then we're going to cook them for another hour or so before we add the chitlins to them. And then we're going to go ahead and clean the chitlins. All right, now we're going to do the same thing with the chitlins, y'all. We're just going to go through the track. And now these, again, these are usually pretty clean, y'all. But look at that. I mean, can you see that real good? These are really, really clean. You don't see any trash in them. You don't see any debris. You don't see any extra stuff. So that was pretty much clean right there. But I still go through the whole kit and caboodle. But guys, I am impressed. Aunt Bessie's hand cleaned chitlins, they were really hand cleaned. I didn't find hardly anything. Well, I didn't find anything. I can't say hardly. I didn't find anything in those intestines, guys. I opened them up backwards and forwards, because you can reverse them, you can have the lining and then you can have the outer surface right there. Nothing. These are really, really clean chitlins. I am impressed. No wonder they call them premium chitlins. So I'm going to go ahead and heat these up and boil them for about an hour as well too. And then once we're done boiling them, a lot of fat's going to be produced from that. So we're going to pour that fat off and then re-water them. Then that's when we're going to add our seasonings. All right, guys, this is what the black-eyed peas looked after soaking them. See how they're kind of puffed up a little bit? It helps to tenderize them. And so we're going to rinse these off, and then we're going to go ahead and we're not going to cook them yet. We're going to cook the ham hock first, and I'm going to show you guys something. All righty, guys, this is how we're going to cook our black-eyed peas. Of course, we're gonna take some of this seasoned meat. These are just cured ham hocks right here. Gonna put it in some water, season it up with some paprika, garlic, some Mrs. Dash, some white pepper, some vinegar. That's lemon juice. I got to get the vinegar. Because you gotta have that. Vinegar really gives it a good taste. And then this is some Mediterranean or some Himalayan, not Mediterranean, Himalayan pink salt. Of course, we got our black-eyed peas there. So we're gonna season this first, and I'm missing one thing, guys. We're gonna add some of this better than bouillon seasoned vegetable base, and guys, that really gives it a nice flavor. All right, so we got our ham hock in there. We're gonna add a little bit of this seasoned base here, and you want to use about a tablespoonful, guys. It's really by what you see. The rule of thumb with this stuff is 1 teaspoon for every 8 ounces or so. So I'm going to use a tablespoon in here because I probably got 4 cups in there. So, but I don't want it to be overly salty. Oops. And really, that's all we're going to add right now. We're going to let that meat cook for about an hour or so. And then is when we're going to add our black-eyed peas. Alrighty, so I've poured off, they boil for about, just move it back here. They boil for about an hour, and I poured off all the stuff. Just took a colander and poured them in here, transferred them back over here to the pot, and we're going to add some water to them, and then we can start adding spices to them. All right, guys, so our ham hocks have cooked for about an hour and 15 minutes or so. We can add our black-eyed peas to it now. And you want them to be just covered up because, they're going to thicken up a little bit while they're cooking. And then we can add our spices in here as well, too. So let's get our spices. Go ahead and put your onions in there. Those are just green onions. Just going to give it a little bit of flavor. We're going to put in about a tablespoonful of apple cider vinegar, maybe a tablespoon and a half. That gives it some flavor. Same amount of lemon juice. Now, some of you guys have probably never tried it this way, but I would advise you to try it this way. It is really good. We're going to add some a little bit of garlic. That was about 2 tablespoons. And guys, if you don't like garlic, you don't have to put that much garlic in there. We're gonna put some Mrs. Dash in there. If we open the Mrs. Dash first. All right, now that we got the Mrs. Dash opened, you really can't overdo it with the Mrs. Dash. That's probably about a teaspoonful of Mrs. Dash. I'll put some white pepper in there. That's going to give it a little bit of a kick. And last but not least, we're going to put some paprika in there. And that was probably about a teaspoonful. Going to give it a little bit of a stir around here. Going to bring it to a boil. And then cook these things to your tenderness. Now, one thing that you may want to do just to kind of make sure it's seasoned. You notice I didn't add any salt to it. One thing you might want to do is taste it. And you know, the meat is cooked, so you can go ahead and taste it and see if it's already at your saltiness. When you put that better than bouillon in there, it probably added a little bit of flavor to it. All right, guys. Now, these are going to be some of the things that are going to go into chitlins. We're going to have some green onions, and these are just some green onion stalks that I had left over from another meal. So we're just going to chop those up. We got some chopped onions, got some bell peppers, got some green and yellow. We got some garlic as well too. I'm going to put a little bit of paprika, some hot sauce in it, some Tony Chachere's. And I found this stuff right here. This is called Chitlin seasoning. And it's got a bunch of different things in it. We're going to try that. It's got mustard, black pepper, bay leaves, cloves, salt, vinegar powder. So this should be real good right here in it as well. So the vegetables are not going to go in until the chitlins are almost done so they can give it that last bit of flavor. But the rest of the stuff's going to go in now. All right, we're going to put about 1/4 of a cup of vinegar in there. That was just the rest of that there, y'all. We're going to do the same thing with some hot sauce. We can do 1/4 of a cup. Now, you're going to probably have to add more seasoning to this because these things kind of soak up a lot of the spices. We're going to use about 2 teaspoons of paprika, about a teaspoon of Tony Chachere's, and about a teaspoon of our chitlin seasoning. Add those. I didn't mention this, but we're going to put a little bit of lemon juice in here too, guys. This is going to give it some good flavor. All right, now we're going to give it a little bit of a stir. Give it a stir. Can y'all see that? Yeah. All right, we're gonna go from there and let it just cook slowly. All righty, it's been about 2 hours, y'all, and it's time to put the chitlins in there now. Add those in. Give them a little stir around. If I can find my. There we go. They're not tender yet. I've tasted them all. That's what that little plate is beside there. I've tasted them. They're good now. Don't get me wrong. They got a nice flavor to them. And let me tell you something, guys. If you go online, find you some of this stuff right here. This stuff is the bomb. This chitlin seasoning, I think I got this from Amazon. If you find some of it, use it on your chitlins or use it on like chicken or whatever. It's really good. All right, we're going to let these cook until everything's tender now, y'all. All right. Check on our black-eyed peas. If I can get the lid open. Ooh, these things are done, y'all. They are nice and done. They're nice and tender. The first time I looked at them, they weren't tender, but they are so tender now with that meat, that pork mixed in there with it. It's going to be some good black-eyed peas for good luck tomorrow. All right, guys, we're also going to do our greens tonight too. So I got a feeling that after this new year comes in, I'm probably going to be a little bit hungover. So I'm going to go ahead and cook this stuff now so I don't feel like crap tomorrow morning, which I'm not hungover yet. I'm not even drinking yet. So anyway, we got some kale. This was just pre-cooked or pre-cut kale. It's already nice and clean. We got some chopped up onions, got a spoonful, about a tablespoon and a half full of minced garlic. You got to have some apple cider vinegar anytime you make greens, guys. I mean, it's just something I like. It really enhances the flavor. Plus or minus with the honey right there. A little bit of paprika, some white pepper, some mustard, and we've got some all-purpose seasoning over there. And it's got some Got a lot of different ingredients in it. Sea salt, garlic, coconut sugar, onion, spices. It's really good. Adds a lot of flavor. So let's saute these onions and garlic first. Ooh, I almost made a disaster, guys. Thank God I didn't. Almost dropped it. I'm gonna saute our onions and our garlic. Just kind of let those cook down. So they got a nice little glisten to them. I've got some avocado oil in here. You can use bacon grease, coconut oil. I'm cooking it on medium. Let's keep it moving. You're going to have some stuff stick to the bottom a little bit, not much. All right, once they've cooked down a little bit, I didn't mention this, guys. You can use some chicken broth or some garden vegetable broth, or you can use water as well too. This just is going to give it a little bit of flavor, so we're going to add a little bit to it, and that's just going to help lift up some of that garlic that kind of stuck to the bottom. Kind of cleans up the bottom a little bit. All right, now we're going to add our greens. Again, this is going to really reduce down here. And we're going to let those kind of sweat out for a little while. Then go ahead and add you a little bit more of your broth. And I usually just pour about half of it in there, and then I let it cook down for a little bit. We're going to put our vinegar in there. That was about 3 tablespoons full. Just a little splash of honey, maybe a teaspoon. Add some paprika. You can be judicious with the paprika. Some white pepper. Give it some flavor. Give it a little bit of mustard to give it a little bit of a twang. That's about a teaspoonful. And we're going to put some all-purpose seasoning in there. Just a little bit, y'all. You don't really need to put that much because you've got the broth in there. Then we're going to throw a lid up there and let that cook down for about 15 minutes and come back and check on it. All right, it's been about 15 minutes, guys. See how they have kind of reduced here? Hope you guys can see that. They've reduced. So now we can stir in all the flavors here. And see, that pot was full, y'all, you know? It was completely full, and see what they reduced down to. That's why you put some onions and spices in there, man, to make it taste good. So we're going to let that go for another, we're going to turn the heat down to simmer and let that go for another 20 minutes. It's been about 15 minutes or so. I'm going to check on the greens. Oh yeah, that's what you want them to look like. So these things are done, y'all. One less thing I got to do tomorrow. Which really, the only thing I have to do now, if I decide to make some cornbread or something. My wife's not really eating cornbread, so I don't know if she's going to want to eat any or not. So, but you know, you almost can't have a meal like this without some cornbread. So I might have to do some cornbread. So maybe I can get up and foster the strength to do that. All right, y'all, let's check on the chitlin. It's been about 3 hours since we put the regular chitlins in with the hog maws. I'm gonna stir them around here. The hog maws have been in there for 5 hours actually, and if you count the first hour, they've been in there 6 hours. So the hog maws are what you really have to watch out for. So here's a hog maw. See if you can see that right there. Yeah, that's a hog maw there. And what you want to determine is it tender yet? And see, it's not quite tender. It It is tender because I can cut through it with a fork, but it's probably still chewy. Yeah, and it's still chewy. So we're going to let those things cook for another hour, hour and a half, and then we'll come back and try them again. All righty, another hour and a half. See what we got here. And again, the true test is the malls, y'all. So when I reach in there, I want to grab out a mall. Because the chitlins, they're gonna get tender pretty quick. The malls are not. There's a mall. All right, let's pull that over to the side there so you guys can get a good look at it. See if you can cut through it real easily. See, and it's still not cutting through real easily. See, I'm really using force, so I know it's going to be chewy. Still chewy. So again, another hour and a half. The actual chitlins are still kind of, well, the last time I checked, they were kind of chewy as well too. So they're not quite ready. All right, y'all. I don't know how many hours it's been now. Let's see, 1:30. It's been like 4 hours. Again, what we got to check is the malls. The malls are what usually don't tenderize. The chitlins should be nice and tender right now. So we're going to take a chitlin out. We're going to take them all out. There you go. And so here's a chitlin. Cuts pretty easily. Let's see if the maul cuts easily. See, it's still got a little bit of resistance. Still got a little bit of resistance. And I always taste them, man, you know, just to make sure. Now, they are far more tender, almost at the level they should be. Let's take the chitlin. Check the chitlin. Chitlins are good. They're nice and tender. One more go at it. I think I'm going to stop this for tonight. I'll start them again tomorrow morning. Just because I think the next time I come up here, if I wait an hour and a half, I'm going to be really drunk by then. So I'm going to turn this off. And we'll go tomorrow. You know, I might even let it simmer throughout the night, but I don't think so. I don't like to leave the heat on, running in the middle of the night. You know, you never know what's going to happen. So anyway, we'll check these tomorrow morning. All right, guys, it's been overnight. I got up and turned it on this morning, and now they're tender now because I've tasted them. So now we can add our bell peppers and onions. Go ahead and add those in. Give it a stir. This is just going to give it some extra flavor, y'all. Let that cook for about 30 minutes or so. And then we're going to take these out of the pot and we're going to put them in some oil, cut up the big chitlins. The malls are already cut, but we're going to cut the chitlins up into smaller portions. And then we'll be ready to eat. Alrighty, so I've taken it out of the original pot. And guys, if you don't have one of these right here, these strainers work real well. Of course, you could use a colander as well too, but this thing works real well. And then I'm going to take these out and see some of the bigger pieces like that. We want that to be chopped up. And you're also going to have to season it up a little bit more too. The way that I normally chop them up is I take 2 knives, guys, and I just come down like this. It can get messy, so just take your time. Just take the knife. One knife cuts one way, and it grabs with the other one, and the other knife cuts the other way. And this will take a little while to do, and you'll get some of the malls in there as well, too. All righty, I had to transfer it over to a bigger pot, and I just got out a wok. And guys, you got to season this because I some of the seasoning, because we got so much in there, it doesn't stay in the fluid. So you got to season it. I added some hot sauce, just kind of to taste. This stuff right here, y'all, this chitlin seasoning, this stuff right here is good. And I put some of the Tony Chachere's in there as well. And I also put some apple cider vinegar in there. I put about half a cup of apple cider vinegar, probably put about a fourth of a cup of the hot sauce, and then maybe a teaspoonful of Tony Chachere and a teaspoonful of chitlin seasoning. And guys, this stuff is done. We're going to eat here shortly. All right, guys, final thing we're going to do is going to make some cornbread. We're using some Dixie Lily yellow self-rising cornmeal, using that's what we're going to use 1 cup. There's 1 cup there, 1 cup of flour. Now this right here is actually the organic, the gluten-free flour. We're going to use 3 teaspoons of baking powder, a fourth of a teaspoon of baking soda. I'm going to use a fourth of a cup of sugar. Let me make sure. I'm going fourth of a cup of sugar. I'm going by the directions on the bag because it's good. I've had it before. 1 egg, and we're going to use some melted lard. This is butter lard right here. So let's put this thing together. All right, we're going to do our dry ingredients first. Going to put in our cornmeal. Going to put in our flour. Give it a little bit of a stir. Just kind of get it mixed in. Going to put in our sugar, put in our baking powder and baking soda. Again, give them a little stir. Oops. Probably should have sifted it a little bit. All right, now we're going to come back here. Alrighty, now we're going to beat our egg just until it's blended here. You don't want it all bubbly like you're going to make you some scrambled eggs. Just until it's blended. That's nice and blended. I'm going to add in our buttermilk. And we're going to add in our lard. Oh yeah. And what I did with the lard, guys, I put it in the microwave for about 40 seconds. And then when it got done after 40 seconds, there was just a chunk, still just a little chunk of lard there. And I just kind of swirled it around so it would kind of cool it off a little bit. Because you don't really want this stuff to cook. All right, now we're going to add it to our bowl, our bowl of flours. All right, we're going to put this in till it's nice and smooth here. Just going to pour it all in there. Give it a little mix till it's nice and smooth. Get those edges there. Okay. We're going to stir it a little bit more, guys, but I don't want to let this take too long. All right, now you can use any type of pan you want to. I have found that a cast iron pan is probably the way to go. And I'm just going to season it a little bit. Not season it, but I'm going to spray it a little bit. And this can must be out. Let's use another one here. This one's probably out too. No, one there. All right, guys, I'll be right back. Lord, have mercy. All right, needless to say, you want to get you a spray and season it here. Now, we're going to preheat the oven to, I think it says 425 degrees. And we're going to put this pan in there first and let it heat up. And then we're going to add this. So if you're not ready to go ahead and do it, you want to preheat this first and then add this. And it's going to sizzle a little bit, and it's going to come out good though, guys. So we'll come right back. Okay, I put that in the oven and preheated it. And what I did, I put it in a cold oven, y'all. And I just let it, well, that was supposed to pour, but it ain't pouring, is it? I hope I didn't screw this up. We're gonna fix it. Just spread it out. Try not to touch it. All right. Don't worry, guys. It looks like crap, but it's gonna do all right. And I'll come right back. All right, it looks like crap, but now you wait to see what it looks like when it comes out. Now, it may be the flour that I used too. All righty, guys, that's what it looks like. Appears to be soft. It looks like crap, you know. But now I've made some stuff like this before, and I'm pretty sure it's because of that new flour. So maybe we're not supposed to be using that flour for cornbread in particular. But you know, it's soft. I can feel that, and it's done as well too. Let's see. Yep, it's done. So we're gonna put some butter on it. Butter this thing up, and we'll come right back, and then the meal will be done. Okay, I melted some butter. Now, I melted some butter. So I'm just spread it up there, but I went on and melted some. Like I said, it appears to be soft, but it looks like crap. I guess I could have added more buttermilk to it so it actually poured in there. But the last time I did one, it kind of evened out, but maybe because I used the gluten-free bread is the reason why. Now, gluten-free bread is actually pretty good, so this may taste good, guys. But we're going to put our meal together and going to show you the plate. All righty, guys, there you have it. Got some chitlins, some black-eyed peas with ham hocks, some cornbread, some afflicted-looking cornbread, some kale greens, and some potato salad. Now, my wife can't eat the cornbread and the potato salad, but she'll probably see mine and will want some. You watch. Anyway, that's it, guys. I'm going to let you know how the cornbread tasted. I bet you it's going to taste good, but we're going to see. Y'all have a good 2022, and we'll catch you on the next video. Peace. All right, guys, just so you know, the cornbread tasted really, really good. My wife liked it. I told her that the next time I would add more buttermilk to it so that it would be a little bit more creamy. She's like, you know what, though? This thing had a nice little layer of breading on it. Like it was the middle was nice and soft. The outside was crisp, you know, and she said she liked it. So, and I liked it too, you know, so it came out good. But I still think I want to add a little bit more buttermilk and make it a little bit more liquidy the next time. Happy New Year, guys. Peace.